Okay. The
Uh,
problem is with the Raptors is they just got to believe in players and share. I know, hey, you want your core to get the majority. Everybody wants their core to get the majority, but there's always guys that are looking to break out, and they got. That's where, as a coach, you got to see and say, you know what, this kid looks a little more fired up today. I'm going to give him a couple more minutes. You know what I mean?
Hello, Raptors fans. Welcome to our new channel. This is the Raptors in black and white. You've got Steve and Mike. We are going to be on here we're going to try and do it every Sunday, recap the Raptors week and discuss any sort of peripheral Raptors worthy news points. So, Michael, let's jump into it. This week we had Mr. LeBron James in town on Wednesday. And there was talk before the broadcast of who is the GOAT. Now, I have a feeling I might know your answer. I've certainly got my own answer, but yeah, where, and if you don't think it's LeBron, then maybe where do you rank LeBron? But yeah, who do you think is the GOAT?
I would give LeBron a GOAT status just because he's been to the playoffs. I think it was 10 seasons in a row. Like, the kid is phenomenal. But me being named Mike, I think we know where we're gonna go. I'm gonna go with all that, though, right?
Yes, I believe I was saying I believe that I watched more basketball games as a child at your house than anywhere else, and definitely the Bulls were on most of the time. If
Most of
you
the
weren't
time.
if you weren't watching replays of the slam dunk contest with Dominique and Michael going head to head. So interesting. Yeah, no, I totally agreed. I think that it has to be Mr. Michael Jordan. The fact he's undefeated in the finals. And funny enough, actually, I heard Draymond talking on his podcast. I think Draymond and LeBron are just trying to buddy up with each other in case Draymond doesn't get his contract next year. He's gonna go to LA, so they're trying to make nice and set that up in advance. But on his
That's right.
podcast, he was talking about Michael taking 2 years off as if he had a choice. And I don't know, maybe it's not completely verified out there in the NBA world, but anyway, my understanding is that Michael was sort of asked to take a couple of years off because he got into a little bit of gambling trouble, and so he went and tried his hand with the White Sox, and then they said, okay, everything's cool, you can come back again. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did decide in the middle of a three-peat to go try out for the White Sox.
No, it was getting nasty because I was hearing stories. I think even Gary Payton came out saying that he came with a golfing bag and he had money stacked with it in bundles there, and he was just losing like 60 grand a hand or something like that. I think like his gambling, I think, got a little woohoo. So yeah, I think they had to put him on pause for a minute because he wouldn't have the era that he had if they didn't put it that way.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, who knows? And what, like, imagine if they won 8 in a row, that would be ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
so you were also talking earlier when we were chatting, just specifically about your thoughts on LeBron. So LeBron comes to town, and both he and AD sit, and give me your thoughts on what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, big issue with that. As you know, being a seat holder, and you're coming to see a game. If I'm looking for LA to come into town, obviously I'm looking for the big ticket guys. Okay, I'm not paying $100 or $300 for a ticket for a night just to see mediocrity. You know what I mean? I'm coming there to see the big show. And if the big shows are not here to show, like, that's what we're paying you these big monies for. I understand. Hey, he's up in age. There might be something going on injury wise. There might be, but nowadays to me, it seems like these guys just say, you know what, today I don't want to play, and they're not making them play. Listen, lace up. The game's an hour and a half. You're playing the world's best. I don't care if you're 40 or if you're 21. Give me my show. That's what you're there for.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
So
And sorry, I was just going to add in actually. This might also give him a little lower on my depth chart as far as the GOAT status, because I'm not sure Jordan would have sat for a game if he appeared to be healthy on the sidelines there. Again, yeah, there might be an injury behind the scenes, but I remember the Raptors' first season when we actually beat Jordan and the Bulls, and they said it was because Jordan was out partying the Saturday. I think it was like a Sunday afternoon game back at Skydome when they were playing games there.
That's right.
Yeah, and they said he was partying on Saturday and maybe was a bit hungover.
Believe it or not, I was actually at the club that Pippen and oh my goodness, it wasn't oh my goodness, what's his name right now? Anyway, Pippen and another player showed up and they're in the limo. So I knew, I was like, listen, if there's any game to pick right now, because it was like 2:30 in the morning, I'm like, these guys are taking honeys back. They're not going to be in no shape. Because by the time they get back to the hotel, play around, boys being boys, I was like, yo, and so be it, so done. Anyways, case closed, long story short, they did end up losing to us.
They did. Yeah, I mean, Stoudemire had a good game, but definitely it seemed more like, the Bulls lost that game. I mean, the Raptors, it was our inaugural season. I don't know how many wins we ended up, but that was the year that they were 72-10, right? So
that's right. Yeah.
one of only 10 losses, pretty amazing. Okay, so yeah, bringing it back to the Raptors because this is a Raptor recap channel. What are your thoughts on all of this starting lineup madness going on? I'm curious to know what you think about. I mean, Scotty Barnes, when he came back from injury, didn't get the start. What do you think about that? And Gary Trent Jr. being sort of like relegated to the second unit, coming off the bench, 6-man type of a role. What are your thoughts?
I'm saying the boys being a team, practicing every day, they know each other. But consistency. Gentlemen, if a person's out, you need a person to step up in any sport, right? We can't be having our team beating 8 seed team. Like the Raptors, I know we won a championship. Okay. This team, they haven't seen what Magic's haven't seen one in a while. Yes, you got Bull there. He's playing phenomenal ball, but you're supposed to put teams like this away. You know what I mean? Right now we're now what, under 500?
Yeah,
A so-called team that right now, if the playoffs are supposed to start, I think we'd be what, 6 seed or something, and they would probably be eighth or be fighting for the 8 seed anyway. But with these 2 wins, I think they're up on us right now. So yeah,
yeah, no, and it looks
um,
like they could take us out of the series. I mean, I was even questioning watching this game, going, do they somehow just have the Raptors number? Like, have they
they
figured
do.
out a way to play against us? Because it did seem like I'm going back. I know we're a weekly recap, but this is our first episode, so we can go back a little further this time. But
Yeah,
when we played the Pelicans, it seemed like
right.
they maybe understood that. I heard even afterwards in one of the players being interviewed, they said, yeah, the Raptors, if you get out on fast breaks against them, they can't set up their half court defense properly. And they essentially said the Raptors are brutal on transitional defense. So when they were sort of using our main modus operandi against us, they seem to figure it out. But yeah, like, was Orlando able to figure it out, or is it really just that we have been inconsistent? Because I mean,
I think
wow.
I think it's a bit. It must be a bit of both. I think you know what I mean, Steve. Because number one, we got swept by them, so they definitely got our number this year, right? We can't win a game against them right now if we try. So do we see these? Do we want to see these guys in the playoffs? I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Yeah, didn't we? I thought we beat them in the first game we played them. Maybe not.
No, we've been swept.
Oh,
We've been
yeah,
swept this year. Yeah,
yeah.
it
No,
was a
brutal. I
close
mean,
call, and then and Cole Anthony, he's playing his heart out. I'm like, could somebody contain this guy? Somebody like, you know what I mean?
yes, I don't love that guy. I wanted him to put his Timberlands back on. And like what that movie tried in the dunk contest. Yeah, they should have made him wear those against us. But and yeah, like Banchero seems obviously he's the real deal, but like Wagner, I know that the guy did amazing last year. I think they said he led rookie scorers. And I know he was in the running against Scotty for a rookie of the year, but today's game, did you see like he torched us last game with 34. You'd
That's
think we would
right.
try to cover him, and he had at least 3 wide open threes. Like, yeah, I don't understand the Raptors because we're supposed to be so defensively solid. Yes, we were missing OG for this game, and maybe Precious certainly seems solid on defense. So him not being there as well is possibly hurting us. But
Yeah, most
yeah,
definitely.
thanks. No, Orlando brutal. So sorry. So for the starters, do you think that Gary Trent Jr. should be a starter, or do you mind him coming off the bench, or like what do you think about that the lineup?
I don't mind him coming off of the bench, but we need him coming off of the bench producing. He's got to be hot like a microwave oven. Okay. Like, I mean, when you're coming off, bring the heat. We don't need Gary like today coming off and giving me 1 for 5 in the first 2 quarters. That's not helping us. Okay. This is a guy that just because he scorched the league last year and wanted what I think 28 million. Hey, still prove to us a year later that you're worth that 28 million. I don't care if you're coming off or starting. I don't care if you, as you know, to me, it's not who starts the game, it's who finishes it.
True.
Okay.
Yes. No, and they did have him in those last minutes. See, I just worry that he seems like they were commenting in the game today that his emotion doesn't seem to change and that he's professional, but I don't know. Sometimes I think that he is an emotional guy and he's like keeping it inside because some of the way he answers questions, especially in the scrums and that kind of thing, like he wants to just, oh yeah, yeah, I'm a bro because his dad, obviously gave him some I don't know, it's almost like he's got media training and mental toughness, but I think
That's right.
I think that he misses some of these shots because he is hurt that he's no longer starting. Like, I don't know. This guy was one of our more creative offensive players, and I think the Raptors' problem right now seems to be that I think we do too much ISO, number one, and we don't have enough creativity in our offense to be able to, figure it out. But with Gary
Well,
Trent,
you hit the number right there, Steve. I don't see enough ball swinging going on. Once again, I know OG's not in there, and he's the main factor for our team. When he's in there playing the game, it opens it up. But once again, we got professional guys. I think there's 15 people on the team. OJ ain't in. Hey, this is an opportunist time for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to step up and make people remember my name here. Or hey, I'm looking some more minutes. You know what I mean? Like, hey, show and prove people. You know what I mean? We have a good team, but the inconsistency is killing us. Now, hey, playoff starts today. I'm pretty sure we would be out of it probably in 6 games, the way how the Raptors are playing. We need
yeah,
to play with more urgency, and the Raptors ain't showing that. And every time we get on a good road, it's like their heads swell, and then we got to get kicked in the butt before we get going again. We got to stay consistent. But like you said, do we need without Precious in with Trent starting off the line? Do we need to mix it up again? Do we need to give shows other guys some more time? Van Fleet was a shit show. I love the guy, but last game he was a shit show. You know what I mean? In this game,
he was
he
okay.
did pick it up a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He certainly would seem to be trying to get involved there. I don't know. They were again. It was funny how much he was sort of getting kicked around and punched around. Like a
That's what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
a lot of physical. He was the receiver of a lot of physical play today, but still, yeah, not getting it done. And I don't know. It makes me wonder if just mixing up the guys is going to be enough. Like I think Otto Porter, I was expecting more from him than he's delivered so far, but I do think that he was starting to get better in the last few games before he went down. So
Went down right.
maybe a 3 and D off the bench. Like our 3-point shots are horrific. I mean, the percentage wise, but just even the timing, like let's hit some when we actually need them. Like, why does it seem like every team we play can drain threes when they're either stopping a run or putting the dagger in, in the end of the fourth quarter, and we're just missing shots like Fred's, shot that he missed at the end of that Friday game. But yeah,
Right.
I don't know. I think Gary. I'm torn because it doesn't seem like who knows where we're going to end up. At the beginning of the season, I thought we were going to be third overall.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I thought we had potential to do that. We're clearly not on that path. And so does it make sense to get Koloko starting minutes if he's going to be the future? But then I'm hearing these rumors that we're trying to get Jakob Pertl, Pride out of San Antonio, which Okay, great. I think his stats are pretty decent, and he's certainly buddies with Pascal Siakam still. So, I don't think that would be a bad thing. And then maybe Koloko comes off the bench, and that might be a nice 1-2 punch. I like
Two
Ken
punch,
Burns,
right?
but Jakob Poeltl obviously was pretty close to being a lottery pick. So, I mean, he's
That's
gonna
right.
he's gonna be better. And
And he's full of energy, and like you said, that would be a good 1-2 punch. And with, like you said, Precious and Thing coming off the bench, we would have a good ring of guy. And that to me, that's even a problem there. That I believe our inconsistency with our big men. We need to get those guys more involved. This game is about the bigs, and I know, hey, we got strong point guards. As you know, we got strong 3-point shooting, but I think our bigs need to get more. Precious, yes, when he's out there, he's active. I was like, why are they giving this kid so much play? But I see why. But the other big guys, Kolonko, he could do put in work too. He could put in work too, most definitely. But I think our bigs, they need to they they got to turn it up a little bit more. They got to turn it up, most definitely.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because Ken Burch comes in, and they're always like, "Oh, Ken Burch comes in and gives you nice energy minutes." I thought today he almost scored every time he touched the ball. Like
Yeah,
it was good, solid, and
he was solid. Yeah,
yeah. But again, yeah, the combo. Like if we get Jakob Poeltl, what that's going to be a weird domino effect. Because then Koloko is going to come off the bench. Are they going to put Precious then at like a power forward off the bench? Because minutes are going to dry up, and then we're not even going to need Ken Burch. But anyway. Um, all right, so quickly
well, not for now. Until no, I was gonna say we won't need them until now. But hey, the depth comes in when it comes to playoffs, as you know. So when the fouls go up by an extra 50%, hey, you know what I mean? One guy will have 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes, and when playoff time comes, you know what I mean? So
true. Well, yeah, I know if Nick goes that deep. Anyway, I don't think
yeah,
we're
that's right.
I don't think we're gonna have a repeat of last year's playoffs. I hope, but yeah, the way we're playing right now, we'd be lucky to not be swept out of the first round. And I think that anyway. So recapping the games of the week, what did you think about the Boston? Any comments about the Boston game? What do you think about the Celtics? And because that was the Monday when we sadly lost 116-110.
Yes, yes, yes. And Jason, Mr. Tatum, man, he is playing some phenomenal ball. Okay. He is looking like an MVP candidate right now. Okay. He's distributing. He look comfortable. He's in his zone. He actually looks like he's playing ball against kids when he's out there right now. Okay. So the Boston, they are rolling. The ball is rolling, and it's rolling downhill, not uphill. I think that team. If you ask me, either semifinals or finals is where Boston's going right now. The way they're looking.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
no,
think.
I can't disagree. They've got two legit, stars because Brown had a pretty solid game against us as well. Tatum, I mean, he's just the extra height with Tatum just makes him that much more dynamic. But man, when Jalen Brown decides that he just wants to go in, downhill to dunk it or whatever, like he's got those power moves in there that are good. And they didn't even have defense wise; they were solid, and they don't even have. Is it Williams that's out right now? I think that's his name, Williams.
Williams, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I was excited that oh no, what's going on? I'm drawing a blank that their center, Horford, uh, didn't play, and then their
Yeah.
backup guy, like they destroyed us. It was embarrassing. So yeah, we definitely have no business keeping up with their offense, and it was actually close. I think at the half we were maybe even up by one or two.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and I
But
started to think like, oh, good, maybe we could beat these guys, but they just killed us in the second half.
but that's the thing with the Raptors. When it comes to playing a marquee team, I see us playing up, and then when we play for me a crappy team like Orlando, we're playing down like, oh, it's just Orlando. Let's just go. Hey, clean them up, get them out of the way, and say let's go handle business when it comes to a marquee team. But anyway, that's sometimes they get in the slumps, but let's just hopefully we can clean this up. Hopefully, night nurse will figure it out with the crew and clean this up.
I hope so. I hope so. We'll have to go in depth on Nurse in another one of these, but yeah, sometimes I start to worry that maybe there was some smoke and mirrors with the 2019 Raptors. Like maybe if I was the coach, we could have still won because we were a pretty sick team, and then to add Kawhi obviously in there,
Yeah,
and Green was certainly a helpful asset. I know in the playoffs his 3-point kind of died, but he certainly, at least in the regular season, helped us get there in his defense and everything too. So yeah,
And everything is defense. Yeah.
I could have maybe coached that team to a win, sort of like the Blue Jay victories. A lot of people say anyone could have coached, when Cito won those ones. But yeah, I'm not sure Nurse contributed as much as everyone gave him credit. Like, Americans who don't pay attention to the Raptors to somehow not realize that I think we had like 58 or 60 wins, like, a few years in a row, even when DeRozan was still on our
That's
team.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And suddenly we pop in there and they go, "This guy's got to be the coach of the year." It's like, what? Have you been watching what we did? Anyway, Messiah
Yep.
to get some props for grabbing Kawhi, but yeah, I'm not sure that Nurse. Anyway, whatever, deserves much credit. Okay, so then the Lakers come in on Wednesday. What do you think about the Laker game?
Uh, Not bad still, but once again, like I said, I'm looking for us to beat a Laker team with their dynamic duo out there. You know what I mean? So right as I seen that LeBron was on the side and I knew AD was out from not feeling good from a couple days earlier, I was like this game is it should be sewn. But hey, once again, you know what I mean? Stuff does happen. You know what I mean? We are human. Does a person get sick? Does a person feel down? Age play a factor, like I said earlier? It could be. You know what I mean? Does LeBron think, hey, without AD and me having a proper backup, I ain't gonna go out there and put in all this work right now? Or hey, another thing, does he feel like, hey, I don't want to lose to the Raptors and get deflated like Trent right now? We don't know. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, that's I agree. I mean, I was excited to see because I wanted to kind of test the Lakers were a little bit of an on an upswing. And anyway, to see Westbrook, I have not been a Westbrook.
Westbrook, yeah.
I mean, listen, I respect the guy. Obviously, he's 10 billion times better at basketball than I am, and I certainly think he tries, and his energy and all that stuff is great. But I did think he has never done anything in the NBA. He's never, had any wins. And his MVP season, when he was averaging triple doubles, it felt like I was still back then even saying these are a little bit empty stats. But him coming off the bench seemed to be working a little better for them. I was curious to measure the Raptors against an LA Laker team that seemed to be on the upswing, that for some reason American media still thinks has some kind of a chance to do something in the playoffs. It would have been nicer to be able to see full LA Laker squad go up against the Raptors, but
Yeah, yep, that's
yeah,
right.
but it should have been more of a cakewalk. It was still a little bit closer than I think it should have been at the end of that game, because without LeBron and AD, I mean, we should have demolished them. But okay, well then, yeah,
Yeah,
then the last two games,
but you're right. They should have got a 30 P.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, we should have controlled the game. I mean, that's the other problem that again we'll talk
Sorry,
about.
just lagged out there for a minute.
We'll talk about on future episodes, but the Raptors can't seem to even start the games winning. Like, we always love to let them get ahead by 4, or let them get ahead by 6 or 10 or 12, and then we try and catch up, and so that the last minutes of the game matter. Where I'm like, I watch other teams, and there's more garbage time, it seems, in the other games played. Maybe I'm just catching those games when I happen to watch another one, but I'm like, look at that. These guys won the game and they're up by 12 with 2-3 minutes left, and it's obvious that they've got their foot on the gas and the other team's not going to come back. With the Raptors, it's always like,
You said it right there, Steve. They Raptors always take their foot off the gas. They get a little hype. Hey, we're up. 6 minutes left. Okay, I think we could go to sleep. Like I said, we gotta learn to put teams away. Okay, just like you talked about the Chicago Bulls that year, 72-10. Okay, it's how putting guys away. If we put guys away, hey, Van Fleet, OG, our top 3, okay, could go. Siakam could go take a seat, and we could get bench guys inside there. Which, like I said, playoff time comes, they will fit more into the role. Can now to get more playing time. You know what I mean? But we
yeah,
got to close out games, and that is a problem with Raptors. Once again, like I said, is it a Raptor thing or is it a Nick Nurse and his squad thing? We got to figure it out.
we got to figure it out, because yeah, getting those guys even some minutes so that we can see what they can do. Because I think I see little signs. I think Delano Banton has like a bunch of potential. Obviously, his height is crazy. His speed, like, but we got to get him in there so that when he can hit a three and be more comfortable. Like he's coming in all anxious trying to do stuff. Even today, he got a couple minutes in the game and they tipped it from behind and like he lost the ball, a turnover on the one play. I don't think he
That's
got
right.
any points. I didn't check the actual box score, but I don't think he had any points. And then I'm trying to get to the fact that like we have a Utah Watanabe on our team, and last year same type of thing. He'd get thrown into games when it's like we need suddenly a spark or something. So he's not comfortable enough to jump into that role. Now he's
That's
getting
right.
more minutes with the Nets, and the guy's like, I don't know if he still is, but last week he was the top 3% shooter in the NBA for crying out loud.
And
It's like we had this guy on our team last year, and we just gave him up for zero. We gave him up
yep.
so we could bring back Champagne. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to diss Champagne, but you know
No,
what I mean?
but it's not all. But no, listen, what you're talking is total truth, and it's been a Raptor problem for the last. How long has the Raptors been going on now? 25, going on close to 30 years. We always have marquee players that leave our squad and go win a ring, for example. Actually, you know what I mean. So Raptors, like I said, they gotta. How I would say when I used to coach, they gotta share the sugar more. Okay, they gotta believe in players. Hey, all of them are pros. They got there because what they could put that basket in the hoop. Okay. The problem is with the Raptors is they just got to believe in players and share. I know, hey, you want your core to get the majority. Everybody wants their core to get the majority, but there's always guys that are looking to break out, and they got. That's where, as a coach, you got to see and say, you know what, this kid looks a little more fired up today. I'm going to give him a couple more minutes. You know what I mean? But the politics of the game, I know there's another whole nother law that's in there. So me saying that and saying do is two different things. Bottom line. So
Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, hey, listen, great stuff. I don't know if you have any other comments you want to crowbar in before we wrap it up for the week. There was not a pun intended there, but you got any last thoughts before we shut this down?
Any last thoughts? Well, one last thing. Yes, let me bring up our away games. Okay, our home games, we are as tough as nails when we're at home. It's like, hey, we're at home. We're actually like that spoiled kid that, hey, I'm at home. You can't touch me. There's my parents. You know what I mean? When we're on the road, it's like, we don't know what to do. We don't got enough change. We came out here and we look like rookies out there. We gotta get some wins on the road. Okay. When it comes once again, if we're looking to be a playoff contender, if we can't win away games while during regular season, how are we going to win those in the playoffs? Please tell me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's so funny since Kawhi was on the team, the regular season, I always cared more about regular season games until Kawhi came and basically said, let's just get to the playoffs and then we'll focus there. But we do need to use these games to figure out how the heck we're going to perform in the playoffs. Because, yeah, I think last year there was a lot of mediocre. We kind of got better towards the end, but we certainly didn't put it all together enough because we should have been able to beat Philadelphia. They've got skeletons in their closet, and as you saw, they were quickly bumped out of the second round, and I think
Quickly bumped out of the second round, which I believe we should have been there, man. But once again, we got to play with some more urgency. Got to play with consistency. And Nick, he's got to pick up the feet and say, hey, you know what? I understand, like I said, hey, I'm paying this guy 36 million. He's gonna give me my 36 million worth. But if he ain't on today, there's gotta be somebody else he could go back to, So.
yes, I completely agree. All right. Raptors next game is Wednesday against the Kings.
Yep.
They're surging a little bit too, so that would have been a cakewalk last year, but they I hope they don't pummel us. I can't take any more of these losses. We got to start stringing
No.
together
We
some
need
wins.
that with these last two here, man. I think somebody's got to wake up now. We got a couple of days so that these guys could figure out what they got to do. It's a home game. West Coast coming, time difference. These guys better get it together. They better get it together.
Completely agree. All right, awesome. Well, hey, listen, thanks for sticking around this long. If you are still here, please like, subscribe, hit us up on the comments. We will answer and get back to you as soon as we can. And so, Mr. Michael, thank you very much for the first
No
episode.
problem.
Very
No problem,
exciting. Looking
Steve.
forward to talking Raptors with you every week.